Hello, hello, hello. Oh, gee, I hope you can hear me. Um, Hi, everyone. How are we doing? Excuse me, it is like 10 to 8 at night here in Brisbane. And I am just having my turmeric and coconut milk, which I do every night before I go. Actually, there's a story behind this. I was going to talk about something else, but I think this actually is coming at a good time because it sort of leads into what I talked about yesterday and the shift and, this journey that we all go through as we're starting to, step into our truth. And the reason why I drink this is that its properties, turmeric properties, are very anti-inflammatory. It's got a high minerals and what am I trying to say? Vitamins in there, which are anti-inflammatory vitamins. I think herbs. No, not. Oh, what am I saying? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I'm taking it for a reason. I started this journey into this whole shift, and I talked about quantum moments in your life. And if you've watched The Shift by Dr. Wayne Dyer, you may understand what I'm talking about here, is that often a shift in your life is a quantum moment that occurs, or multiple quantum moments. For me, it was a fairly large moment. That was a turning point for me. And it's going on now 14 years ago, 15 years ago, when at the age of 39, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. At the time, I had started running my own mortgage brokering business, and I was sitting at about just really hitting 5-figure monthly income. So it was pretty strong, and I had worked quite hard to get it to that point. But at the time that I was diagnosed with the breast cancer, as you can imagine, that sort of scare at such a young age. And my two children were teenagers at the time. My son was about 17, I think, and my daughter Anna was 15. So it really shook us up. Actually, when you see my husband, Sam, he's a baldy. He did that when I lost all my hair. And, it was a tough time because my hair was just falling out in, just big amounts. It was just, I just had to shave it off in the end. And so when my husband did that, he said, that's it, I'm shaving my hair off as well. So that sort of led into a downward spiral with our finances. Now, you would have thought, after working many years in the banking industry, that I would have been, protected in terms of, these types of traumas that come along. But of course I wasn't, because, I had this sense of we'll be fine, I'll be earning all this money, life's going to be good, we won't need to do anything. That now when I reflect, God pretty much said you need a reset. And, the breast cancer came through. I had to go through the chemotherapy. Thank goodness I've been cleared since then, but I do take a lot of steps now to look after my health, my stress levels. I mean, seriously, at the time, when I look back, when people say, geez, that was a really tough gig, it was, but I also now understand that I actually created the perfect storm for that. In the research that I've done since going through the breast cancer, I know that alcohol is a high risk, smoking, stress, all of those things creates an environment, an acidic environment in your body that makes it a perfect place for cancers to develop. And so I'm in a family of 3 girls, and my mum, no one in our history has had breast cancer. So I know that I probably contributed to that a lot. In fact, I know that I did. But you don't know that at the time. and that for me was my shift, was what the heck, all I know is finances, and right now I'm about to lose everything because of the cancer. So that was the shift that I went through. Come in, baby. This is my granddaughter, Miss Jada.
Yeah.
Who's still with us today, another sleepover. And we're a little bit obsessed with what? Transformers. I think my husband has sat with her through every Transformer that has been filmed since 2007, but so our girls are not well at the moment. My granddaughters aren't well, so she's having a few drinks here. Hi, Liz. That's Auntie Liz there. She's just popping in to say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, so I was talking about, the quantum moments that we've gone through that have led us to sort of trying to really shake up our lives and think about the decisions that we're making. Because, of course, I was chasing the dollar, I was chasing status that I know it is now, the car, the house, all of those things. Well, after the cancer, and I always say to people, it's like God put me on this journey where I had to be taken out of the, life, the road of life, and right, you're going to go through this on your own. And I remember my younger sister crying at the time, and she said, Tanga, it's one thing for us to all come by and hold you and hug you, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have the chemo going through your body. You're the one that's going to have to go through everything. So it's a tough time. And I was 39 then. And, what really needed to happen was that shake up. My Danelle and Anna, my children had to go to school a lot because we were in financial stress at the time. They went struggling for books, and they were teenagers then. That's a tough place to go. So, this whole shift that Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about is sometimes we get stripped of all the things that we believe is important to us and important to our lives. And when we get challenged in that space, out of that, it's almost like a bit of a phoenix transformation. You come out of that bigger, stronger, understanding, not needing as much as what you thought you did. So that's what's led to this, the turmeric milk every night, coconut milk every night. It's just simple little things that I do that hopefully hold this vessel as healthy as possible, because some of the things that we talk about when we take this journey of self-discovery is about working out what it is that is your why. What is it that drives you? What really makes you happy? And for me, it's about family. It's about being there for my children. It's about being able to climb water slides with the grandchildren, and coming down with them as well, and just having fun. And you can't do that unless you're healthy. You can't do that unless you have the energy levels to be able to do that. So for me, there's a direct link between the way that we earn income as well. So the traditional way is your 9-to-5 job, plus you're pouring in all of your energy, all of the things that you have in you to be able to earn this income to create this life that you think is meaningful. But is it? Is it really meaningful when you're spending 40 hours of your life away from your children, away from your grandchildren, stressed to the max, but you want to give so much, but you don't understand the cost that it's having on your body. So we've pulled back a bit. Sometimes, some of it, a lot of it is because we're forced to. Hi, Mary. Hi, how you doing? Good to see you here. So I'm just talking about, I was going to go on with a different subject, but because my little turmeric milk came up, I thought, I'm going to explain it. I think that's where I need to go today is, the shift that we go through, and when we identify what those quantum moments are in our lives, sometimes that's enough for us to make decisions that are quite a bit more healthier for us. So I hope you got a chance to watch that movie, The Shift, which I talk about in my live from yesterday. But, you know, it could be anything. It could be illness. For me, it was illness, relationship breakdown, sudden loss of job, loss of self-worth, you know, your planned career not being what you thought it was going to be. Oh, I love you too, my cuz. Yes, you must try the turmeric milk. It's really nice. Well, actually, yeah, it's a taste you've got to get used to. It's sort of pretend you like it, or you'll start to enjoy it after a while. And you know, the thing that I noticed as I started to go back into, and I started counselling, because of course I couldn't go back into the finance industry because we had all the financial issues. So I started counselling and counselling people that are going through the same traumas. And you know what? It didn't matter what the traumas were. They were all going through a lot of self-guilt. They were going through a lot of self-judgment. And I often say to people, you know, it's one thing to have to deal with family and friends and the shame that you're trying to explain what's happened to, you know, in front of them, but it's another thing to have to deal with your own judgment and your own guilt. So I suppose that sort of is a good timing, because it was really important to explain why I've gone through this process and this journey and this shift. And now what grounds me is that time that I get to spend with my children, because I feel like I've been given the second chance. And when we're given a second chance, you can't waste it, because not everyone gets that. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but I think it's really important when I see a lot of people go through the same sort of things. And I've helped a lot of, I've counseled. In fact, I had a lady a couple of hours ago, and she said to me, you know, Tanga, I haven't spoken to anyone about the financial stuff that I'm going through. I'm so ashamed about it. You're the first one that I've spoken to about it. In fact, at night I just go behind the door and I cry myself until I'm right, and then I suck it in and I come out and I say to my son, hey, Bob, what are you doing? Do you recognise that? We do that, don't we? As parents, as mothers, as grandparents, we do that. We suck it in. And sometimes we just need to let it out, have that safe space, have the quantum shift that we need to go through, and then refocus on what we need to achieve in our lives. So, look, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'd love to connect with any of you. If you've got any questions at all, try this turmeric. It's turmeric powder that I have. Actually, Samoa has the best, Liz, Samoa has the best organic turmeric, would you believe, and coconut milk. And I just warm that up at night. It's the last thing that goes in my body at night, and then it's quite refreshing. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for being my counsel. I think I needed that. That sort of is totally not what I thought I was going to talk about. But bless you all, and have an awesome, awesome night or day or afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from. And I'll do this all again tomorrow. God bless. Okay. See ya.